So before we get out on the water, let me show you some of the baits that we're working with today, and all of these should be able to catch some fish in this pond that I'm about to go hit. So first up, we have the live target bait ball, and this is the 5-inch version. This one's pretty big, but this is just your standard walk the dog style bait. What I really like about it is if you're fishing in clear water, this thing has a completely translucent body, and it has all those little minnows on there painted on the side, which looks like a ball of bait, which is why they call it the bait ball. This is an awesome topwater lure. Next up, sticking with the top waters, we have the Stanford Baits Boom Boom Frog, and this was designed by Fred Rumbanis. This thing is pretty interesting. I've never actually fished this before, but we're gonna take a quick look at it. Something really unique about this bait is that it has a strip of Velcro on the back of it. So you can see it right here. It also has an eye on the bottom, and not only that, it also has some sort of rattle inside. So when you're bringing it through grass, it should be able to kind of attract those fish a little bit more. Pretty nice looking frog. I'm really looking forward to this. This should do really well in this pond today. Now the next 3 baits we have, which are my favorites, we have the Ike's Mini Flip Jig from Missile Baits. And this is an awesome one for fishing ponds or smaller bodies of water where the bait is going to be just a little bit smaller. This is a really nice compact jig. It's a 1/2 ounce still, but you can see it's just a little bit smaller than your standard 1/2 ounce jig, which is going to have a much bigger skirt and a bigger profile. So the 2 plastics that we're going to be throwing around, we have the baby Brush Hog, and again, sticking with the smaller profile baits, especially for ponds. This is going to work really well. Sometimes when the fishing is a little bit tough and you can downsize a little bit from the full-size Brush Hog to something like this, the baby, it works really, really well. Last but not least, we have the Zoom Ultra Vibe Speed Crawl, which is what I'm probably going to throw on the back of the Ike's Mini Flip Jig, or just throw it on a plain Texas rig, but both of these are going to work really well. So let's talk about bait selection really quickly. So with the baits that I have, the reason that I'm choosing what I'm choosing to throw is due to the conditions that I'm fishing. So as far as the frog goes, this is kind of perfect frog conditions. You know, we have a bunch of grass on the water. It's slightly overcast, middle of the day, but the fish have shown the most love to the frog. And I've thrown the Texas rig, the jig, and I threw the live target bait ball around for a little bit, but the frog is just what is working in these conditions. So keep that in mind when you're out on the water. You always want to fish your conditions and fish whatever situation you're in. So if I was at a pond that was really deep and clear, that might be somewhere where the jig or the Texas rig with the baby Brush Hog on it are going to work a lot better than the frog, and that's where the live target bait ball could actually really crush. So always take account for your situation and just pay attention to what's going on, what the fish are doing, what you think the fish are doing. Try as much as you possibly can until you get bit, and then really just kind of key in on that bite. If you can find some deeper water, if you're fishing on a bigger body of water, whether that's like a bluff wall or a big point, and you can get yourself out there, try Carolina rigging one of these baits, you know, like the baby Brush Hog or the Speed Crawl. You throw a Carolina rig out there, just something that'll get out there and get deep, give yourself the best opportunity to put one of these baits in front of a fish. That's what you should definitely do. So another thing, along with water selection, like I was talking about earlier, if you can find yourself a body of water that has grass like this in shallow water, so try that tip out, see if you can't catch yourself some more fish. We're gonna throw some of these baits around a little bit longer, and we're gonna get out of here. But hopefully we can get a couple more bites, hopefully one on the jig, maybe one on the Texas rig, not sure. All of these, again, situational. This pond just really seems to be super shallow and grassy. This frog is just crushing. I'm picking up this Stanford Baits Boom Boom Frog. We're gonna throw this around some of the grass. Definitely flip it around these holes, stuff like that. Another thing with bank fishing is I like to cover a lot of water. Then when you find fish, kind of just focus on those areas. This frog is awesome. I'm super impressed with it. So I'm just gonna start making some fan casts around the area with this frog. And then I'm gonna pick up the jig and just kind of punch it around some of these holes. If I don't get bit, I'm gonna move. Spend like 10 minutes in this area. Take a little walk. Oh, God, that almost killed me. All right, well, there's a bite right in the grass. There we go. Way up in the grass. Shoop. On the Boom Boom Frog. That thing is awesome. Perfect. There we go, little 12-inch bass. Take it on the frog. See you, buddy. So I'm fishing this Boom Boom Frog on a 7.6 medium heavy rod with 65-pound braid, and I'm just walking it across the grass, just not really stopping it. If I get to one of these holes in the grass, I will pause it there just to give the fish a second to come up and smoke it, but these fish seem to be pretty aggressively hitting it. Man. Alright, we're going to put the frog down for a little bit. We threw this around the shallower end of this pond where all that grass was matted up. Now that we're near the dam and the water's a little bit more open, we're going to throw a Texas rig around. So this is the baby Brush Hog. Have it Texas rigged on a 3/8 ounce weight. We're just going to slowly drag this thing around this dam area. It's pretty shallow. I think it's only 4 feet. One more tip for bank fishing in general, whether it's summer, winter, fall, make sure you fan cast the area really well, and definitely don't forget to parallel the bank, because a lot of times when you walk up the spots, you can see fish right up on the bank and you kind of spook them off from the vibrations of you stepping. But it's not to say that there are more fish just kind of hanging around off right on the bank. So make sure you don't forget to do that. Now that we're in some more open water out of the grass, we're going to throw this live target bait ball around. So the pond I'm fishing is pretty shallow, and I've seen a lot of fish kind of blowing up on top. We've also had 4 or 5 bites on the frogs, so I think if there's anything roaming out here outside of the grass, this should work pretty well. Alright, we're going to make one more cast here, then we're going to start working our way back into that grass. So that's exactly what I was saying earlier. You want to cover water and find fish. I haven't had a bite since I left all that grass, so we're going to focus on that area. I'm working this area with all the grass with the jig and really focusing on the holes. It's going to be a little bit hard to punch this 1/2 ounce jig through some of this matted stuff, so your best bet here is just to let this thing soak into some of these deeper holes. So I like to cast it in, just let it sit there for like 4 or 5 seconds. Feel for a bite. If nothing's there, just start shaking it a little bit and kill it. Let it pause. And we're looking for these fish in the summertime that usually will be hiding up under these mats. And they use kind of the edge near these holes to look for things exactly like this. Crawfish, bait, whatever it may be that they want to eat. So you just kind of keep it in that strike zone for as long as you can, looking for the fish on the edges, in the holes. That'll get you a couple bites out there. Alright guys, that's going to be it for me today. We only caught 1 fish, but we probably had 9 or 10 bites on that frog and just couldn't connect. It was a really fun day out here. Make sure you check out some of these baits that you got in your mystery tackle box. Take them out, throw them around from the bank this summer. Also, make sure you take some of the tips that I gave you and go out and catch some big summertime bass from the bank. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on Carl's mystery tackle box over there. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one.